Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Chapter 13 is entitled as Kshetrajna Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Vibhaga Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Viveka Yoga. Sloka 32. Anāditvān nirguṇatvāt paramātmāyam avyayaḥ śarīra-stho kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. In the previous sloka, we learned that the body, which is an assembly of many parts, limbs, whereas the Atma of no variation. This Atma doesn't go through any changes like the changes of the body which goes through from child to youth to manhood and old age and so forth. All these changes are for the body, not for the Atma, and the person who realizes this is the one who attains his real state, meaning attains liberation. And the same discussion has been continued in the 32nd sloka, that the Atma is indestructible, doesn't go through changes, and it is different from the body, especially focusing on its association with the three modes that's present in the body. But Atma itself does not have these three modes. It is only because the Atma is present in the body and which is being influenced by the three modes of the body that the Atma tends to perform activities. But when the Atma is free of body, that means it's free of three modes. In that state, Atma does nothing. It isn't required to perform any actions that usually takes place with the help of the body. So that's a message from this sloka. Let's understand more. I am Paramatma, the self much superior to the body and the Indriyas. Therefore, the Jivatma is referred as Paramatma in this case, in the sloka, because the Jivatma is certainly superior to the Indriyas, the senses and body, and it is the one which controls the body and Indriyas. Therefore, Paramatma, Atma is referred as Paramatma. Śarīra-stho api, though existing in the body, anāditvāt, being without a beginning, that is having never been born. So we are talking about Atma here. So Atma, who is superior by nature, superior to the body and Indriyas, with that exists in the body, and this Atma which doesn't have a beginning, meaning which has never born, avyayaḥ, changeless, that is immutable, nirguṇatvāt, being devoid of gunas like sattva, rajas and tamas, kaunteya, O son of Kunti, na karoti, does not act, na lipyate, does not get tainted. Translation. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature, despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. What is being said here is, though Atma dwells in the body, this Atma is indestructible. It is indestructible because it was never been created. And another point has been said here is, this Atma doesn't have gunas, meaning it doesn't have sattva, rajas and tamas. Those gunas are present in the prakriti, that is the body and other object substances. But the Atma itself is free of sattva, rajas and tamas. Because it is free of sattva, rajas and tamas, which is the one which really causes for some activities, the Atma does not do anything. Another point is that even though the Atma exists within the body for a long time, this Atma does not acquire or derives the qualities of the body. Let's understand more on what we just saw. In the world, we see things that are created get destroyed eventually, or has the ability to be destroyed, if not now, sometime later. Likewise, we all know that the body is created. The body that we have now was not existing before our so-called birth. It is during that time of birth when we fully see the body that which got created. And this body which got created is made of pancha tanmatra, shabda sparisha rupa rasa gandha, pancha bhutas, earth, water, fire, air, ether, then pancha jnanendriya and pancha karmendriya. Therefore, there is no question of the body to be having eternity. Since it's made of these elements, it is obviously clear that it is going to be destroyed one day or the other. And we have witnessed, we have seen in our lifetime that many bodies of our friends, relatives, and many more getting destroyed, which is what called as death. So the body either get buried or burnt into ashes, whatever the method. So the body which is getting created get destroyed. Anything that get created will be destroyed. In contrast, the Atma never get destroyed. That is what being said here, because it never got created in first place. It's been existing forever and has no beginning of when it was created. And they are not made of matters like the pancha tanmatra, pancha bhuta, pancha jnanendriya, pancha karmendriya. Since it's not created by any of these elements, the Atma is not qualified for destruction, nor qualified for any changes. The changes and destruction happens only to the body, not to the Atma. These Jivatmas, that's all of us, are like the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, who also does not go through destruction and changes. Therefore, he is Paramatma in one sense the Jivatma is also called Paramatma. The Supreme Lord is Paramatma because he is superior to the Prakriti and is eternal, and is present within the Jivatma. The Jivatma is called Paramatma because he is also superior to the Prakriti and he is also eternal. He is also present within the body. The Supreme Lord is the ruler of all the bodies, all the Jivatmas, whereas the Jivatma is the ruler and controller of the body it is currently present. Hence, Jivatma is one sense called or referred as Paramatma as well. And we have discussed this particular topic quite few times. Those who are interested, please refer to the 23rd Sloka, part 2. The Sloka says, Na karoti, does not act. The Jivatma does not do anything. So let's understand this particular statement. Every single activity that happens around us is simply based on raga and dvesha, attachment, liking or hatred, disliking, etc. We desire to obtain an object. For example, to obtain that object, we do some action. For some reason, if we are not able to obtain that which we desire, then that becomes anger. For some reason, if we are able to obtain that object, that becomes a joy. Therefore, it is because of the desire that we get into an activity. When we do an activity to obtain something, the act that we do may be a good act or a bad act. So these actions that we do are influenced by the three modes, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. And these gunas are parts of Prakriti, that is, part of the body, not part of the Atma. The Atma doesn't have any of these gunas. When the Atma attains moksha, it doesn't do any of these material activities which are influenced by the three modes. Why? Because when it attains moksha in the spiritual world, there is no existence of this mixed gunas. These mixed gunas only exist within the Prakriti, within the material world. And that is what has been said here, nirguṇatvāt. In nature, the Atma doesn't have any relation to three modes. Atma is not made of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. It is totally free of these three gunas. We should be very clear at this time after going through this chapter. It is only the Prakriti, the matter consists of the three modes, but not the Atma. Atma is totally free from these three gunas. It is due to the association of the body which has these three gunas that triggers the Atma into desire from the previous karma vasana, and the Atma develops that desire to do certain activities, certain action through the body. And those actions could be highly influenced by one of these gunas, maybe Sattva Guna or Rajoguna or tamoguna. When we are influenced by tamoguna, we feel lazy, sleepy, etc. And when we are influenced by rajoguna, we tend to argue, fight, etc. When we are influenced by sattva-guna, we tend to be in the mode of wanting to cultivate more good qualities, wanting to study more scriptures, perform good deeds, and so forth. So these gunas are present only in the body and other objects. These gunas are not present in the Atma, but the Atma get influenced by these three gunas. Does not mean the Atma derives these gunas within itself. This Atma, anāditvān, adi, meaning it doesn't have a starting point. It doesn't have a starting point. It's called anādi. Simple terms, it never get created. It's not that at one point the Atmas were created, generated. It's not that in future new Atmas will be created. That's not the case at all. At any given point of time, Atmas are not created. Atma exists, beginningless since beginningless time. Avyayaḥ. These Atmas, which is beginningless, does not also go through any changes. It is only the body that will go through changes, but the Atma which is present within the body does not go through any changes. All the Atmas, whether it is Baddhatma, whether it is Bhuktatma, whether it is Nityatma, they are all of same nature. They are all made of Jnanamaya. It's not that one Atma, say my Atma is different from my child's Atma. My Atma is different from my father's Atma. They all have a same nature. Another important point that we need to learn is we often say that once we get liberated, the Jivatma gets 8 qualities of the Supreme Lord. Apahata papma, vijaraha, vimurtyuhu, vishokah, vijihitsaha, apipasaha, satyakamaha, satyasankalpaha. That is, it is free of any sins. It never get aging. It doesn't go through birth and death. It doesn't have any lamentation. It will be without hunger, thirst. All its desires are fulfilled, and all its sankalpa, the will also be fulfilled. The point that we need to know is that these 8 qualities is not something that we are going to obtain after we attain liberation. It does exist even now, but it is not experienced. It is not activated just due to our strong condition in the material world. When one gets liberated, these 8 qualities becomes obvious. Krishna repeatedly in different angles, through different examples, trying to explain this concept of body, Atma, their connection, their qualities, and what needs to be done from our side, so we can be free of this material entanglement. Hence Krishna is addressing Arjuna as kaunteya, meaning son of Queen Kunti. What Krishna is indirectly saying to Arjuna is, you are son of that great Kunti, who has the complete wisdom of this topic. She was praying to Krishna, Vipadha santutha sashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunar bhava darshanam. She said that let there be calamities again and again so that I could see you again and again. She is praying for calamities upon her so that she can remember Krishna. And she says that seeing you means no longer one has to take repeated birth and death. That means you're son of that great Kunti. Kunti has a complete understanding of this kshetra, kshetrajna, that they are two different entities. And she was even ready to go through any calamities which comes upon. That is only possible for someone who has such knowledge of understanding the difference between body and Atma. In that way, that person is able to surrender to me. Being son of such a great saint, saintly mother, you should know these things, Arjuna. The last point that we need to see in this sloka is na lipyate. That is, one may think that since the Atma is present in the body for a long time, that the Atma may be tainted by the qualities of the body. The gunas of body may be present in the Atma as well, because Atma has been associated with the body for a long time. And Krishna says, na lipyate, meaning no, that never happens to Atma. Though the Atma residing within the body does not get even a bit of the qualities of the body. The idea here is to inform that the body which is in association of the self does not have the power to push its defects onto the Atma. One may give an example that a piece of wood which is immersed in a body of salt water, after leaving it for a long period, the wood log may acquire the saltiness. Likewise, the Atma who is present in the body for the long time may also acquire the qualities of the body, these three gunas. But the answer is na lipyate. That example does not apply over here for the Atma. Hence, Atma is free of the three gunas. In the next sloka, Krishna is going to elaborate on this particular discussion, that how Atma is not contaminated by the qualities of the Prakriti, the body. Anāditvān nirguṇatvāt paramātmāyam avyayaḥ śarīra-stho kaunteya na karoti na lipyate.
Namaste. Hare Krishna.